Yeah, we said, man, it's a Triple B Base Boxing Basement. Please like, subscribe if you're new. If you like what you're hearing, you get me? Yeah, so I was just looking at, I mean, obviously we're all a bit nostalgic about the old fight days. You know, when you watch fighters, Muhammad Ali, Rocky Marciano, Jack Dempsey, even Mike Tyson, who seems so long ago now, you get nostalgic as fight fans. But it's a bit of a lie. And the biggest lie is that the media and the boxing media like to put a narrative out. So I just watched Joe Frazier defend his title against George Foreman. Like, George Foreman is one of my favorite fighters. Why? He's a Christian. He came back. He's tough. He came back and no one thought he would get anywhere, and he won the World Heavyweight Championship. It's amazing. Everyone used to regard George Foreman as a monster in the 1970s, and he won the gold medal, right? So when he weighed in against Joe Frazier, he was 217.5 pounds. I mean, Mike Tyson, who's considered a small heavyweight, was big in that in most of his fights. Joe Frazier was 214 pounds. And Foreman's considered a beast, but he only outweighed Frazier by 3.5 pounds in Kingston, Jamaica. I mean, it's quite interesting. He was too big, Foreman, Frazier. Hang on, he was 3.5 pounds bigger. Well, you can put Jile Zhang, the Big Bang Jile Zhang, 290 pounds of Chinese power. Imagine what he'd do to Frazier. And this is why you can't, one of the reasons you can't compare eras. I mean, things are very different. If you're under the heavyweight division, right, you've now got 36 hours to rehydrate. And let's be honest, there are PDs in the mix. Whereas back in the day, you'd have to weigh in and fight the same day. It didn't matter as a heavyweight. But that's one of the many differences. And people have understood now the importance of proper supplementation, proper diet, and PEDs. So, I find always to compare one era to another is no good. But if we look at George Foreman, 217.5 pounds, he'd be considered small now. Small. Imagine a 270.5 pounder going up against the Big Bang Jile Zhang or Joe Joyce, right? Or Tyson Fury, or even Gay J, okay, who's 250 pounds of muscle. And Joe Frazier, like I said earlier, was only 3.5 pounds lighter. He was bobbing and weaving, and he got utterly battered by Foreman, utterly battered by George Foreman. And this is why I don't think Frazier's that good. He ducks, he dives. Maybe in the pre-50s era, the 50s era, Marciano, Walcott, them kind of people he could have hung. But, he's extremely overrated. I like him. I like the way he dresses. He was in Rocky 2, I think, with a lime green suit. And he looked pretty cool. But, people overrate Frazier. People also overrate Ali. One of the reasons Frazier was so dangerous and beat Ali once was because he has a great left hook. Ali has always been susceptible to the left hook. Frazier, Henry Cooper almost knocked him out. A white British cruiserweight, almost knocked him out. If it wasn't for the shenanigans, he probably would have done. Or if you hear him early in the round. But, Ali is obviously probably the most famous boxer of all time. But he's just a civil rights movement pawn, He was deliberately, right, taken out of boxing, deliberately, so you can see about the evil white man's. And by the way, I agree with Muhammad Ali. Why would I want to go and fight some Viet Cong who've done nothing to me? Nothing. So, by the way, I agree with Muhammad Ali. But the point was, it's not his real thoughts. He's just following what he was told by the Illuminati. He flashes symbols. He does the one eye. He does the six, and the six symbol many times. Anyway, I'll bring a modern perspective. I'll do, right, a modern commentary on Foreman Frazier, Fight 1. And, people can realize that they need to stop believing in myth and legends and see reality. But let's check it out. Right, so we got George Foreman looking at Frazier and they're eyeing each other up. And yeah, it's pretty dark, man. Now, Foreman later said, "Oh, my legs were shaking." Well, I've just watched. I think that's myth. I think he was doing it with, to make it sound better, to be a good press story. Because he didn't look like he was shaking. He looked angry. He looked serious. He looked like he was going to take out Freeman, Smoking Joe Freemason Frazier, and he did. So round one. So we got Frazier's ducking and diving. That was always one of his strengths, ducking and diving. And he was a stocky, strong guy. And he used that. You got to remember, in those times, the heavyweights were not as big as now. But like I said, he was still only 3.5 pounds lighter than George Foreman. And people underestimate Foreman. You can see him jabbing. He sticks his hands forward in the other guy's face so they can't let off their shots. He's actually very clever. He's got a decent jab. You know what I'm saying? People just think he was just a slugger. No, he wasn't. He'd push the other guy off. He'd push his hands in their face, and then he'd throw big shots. And he blocks Joe Frazier's punches, his left hook. His famed left hook, Joe Frazier. So, and there you go, another jab. Another jab. He had a great jab, Foreman. He was able to win the heavyweight championship again after retiring for 10 years, which is incredible. He was 45. He was huge when he came back, but I still believe that Foreman, the prime Foreman, was a real... Oh, down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Frazier goes down. Oh, I mean, it's like a man battering plywood. The plywood can't fight against the fire. You know what I'm saying? And Frazier will duck, he will dive, he will throw the occasional shot that Foreman will either block, step back from. He steps back. He's very good at stepping back, making the guy miss. He's a very underrated boxer, Foreman. Of course, he's a come-forward guy, and he's violent. But he's a very underrated boxer. Frazier getting batted on the ropes. He's trying to come back. He's no good. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. 12 seconds left. Frazier's all over the place. Obviously, give him a chance because he's, the heavyweight champion. Down goes Frazier again. And he's counted by the referee. And they didn't used to stop fights in them days easily. And Frazier's literally carried to his corner. And we see the replay. The violence of Foreman. And some of the shots don't land clean, but they're heavy. Like I said, he's only 3.5 pounds heavier. But he's a lot stronger, bigger, violent than Joe Frazier. And out comes Frazier for the second round. And he's bobbing and weaving. And, you might say, well, he's, maybe he feels right. He's got back into it. But you can see his legs. His legs are shaky. Right? They don't fancy it. And the referee, the idiot referee. Okay, let's go on. And only gets huge shots from Foreman. Why? Because he knows it doesn't matter. Oh, down goes Frazier again. He knows. It doesn't matter if he hits the arms. He will go through the arms. The thing about George Foreman is that when he punches, he goes through the target. About 2 feet through the target. Do you understand me? Oh. Down goes Frazier again. The referee's like, come on, ref, you got to stop this. Frazier's done. He's completely shot. But in them days, like I said, they let things go on. And poor old Frazier's getting battered on the ropes by hooks, violent hooks. George Foreman is not the least bit bothered because he knows he can't be hurt. And the referee, there's some confusion, but the referee was like, enough. I've seen enough. Thankfully. You don't want to see a man killed. And Frazier's done him again in the rematch. Foreman done him again. So what I'm saying is this, right? You know, all the narratives and the BS they tell you is usually wrong. They will tell you, oh, Foreman was too big for Frazier, but he only weighed 3.5 pounds. Oh, you know, he was so big, aggressive, and strong. Well, like I said, he didn't weigh much more than him. He didn't weigh much more than a prime Mike Tyson's. Yet you say he is a monster. And Frazier just ain't that good. He got battered by a man. Most of the men that Frazier beat were either susceptible to left hook, like Ali, or they just were much smaller. And he came up against a guy the same size, and he got a hiding.